Hi, YouTube. The Arizona Mileman here. I just want to take a minute to say real quickly it will be better if I read this rather than try and memorize all of this entire thing like it's a script and recite it back to you. Okay, this is in reply to Mitt Romney making a video or a recording of him making a stump speech having to do with the president. He made some comments that I have to say something about. There's going to be a link to that in the title below. This is in reply to a recent video of Mitt Romney once again caught lying on his campaign trail. There is a link below you can use to go to YouTube and watch the video. Romney said President Obama on the Today Show said if he couldn't turn the economy around, he would be a one-term president. From the U.S. Department of Labor, at the link I provided to the description below, it says total non-farm payroll employment rose by 243,000 in January, and the unemployment rate decreased to 8.3%. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today job growth was widespread in the private sector with large employment gains in professional and business services, leisure and hospitality, and manufacturing. And so Mitt Romney's claims once again are bullshit. Why does he bother to say these things as if we can't read and know that what he's saying is completely nonsense? That doesn't even come close to suggesting what we saw in Congress with John McCain, the ringleader of the filibustering Republicans that we have. He got so sick of hearing from one of his own allies, the Tea Party, during the debt crisis argument that he called them hobbits. What he said was, the idea seems to be that if the House GOP refuses to raise the debt ceiling, a default crisis or gradual government shutdown will ensue, and the public will turn en masse against Barack Obama. Then Democrats would have no choice but to pass a balanced budget amendment and reform entitlements, and the Tea Party hobbits could return to Middle Earth. This is the kind of crack political thinking that turned Sharon Angle and Christine O'Donnell into GOP nominees. The reality is the debt limit will be raised one way or another. And that's one of the things that a lot of these people don't understand is we already have laws established for a reason. And there's a lot of stuff that was, well, for instance, abortion. The reason abortion's legal is so little girls will quit self-aborting and going to abortion clinics and dying or being infected or mutilated. And people don't seem to understand that we already made that decision decades ago. We already went through the period in history where we didn't have legal abortion, and that's what it resulted. Women are going to have abortions no matter what. That's just one issue. Now, the problem is that we got these people who want to keep coming up with these, as they call it, talking points, and that's exactly what this is. It's nonsense. Romney goes on to say, remember, he was going to have this policy, sit down with Ahmadinejad, Iran would be dissuaded of their nuclear ambition. No one said that was his aim. What he said was he was going to go over there and talk to him about it. They haven't done any more nuclear testing, and there hasn't been any more talk of them using nuclear arms. On a common sense basis, nobody wants it. Then he said the median income in the United States has dropped 10% in the last 4 years. He is trying to use a fictional income measurement that has too many variables to actually indicate what the problem is. Here is a report from Wikipedia concerning the true reading. From 1969 to 1996, that was a while before Obama, median household income rose a very modest 6.3% in constant dollars. In 1969 to 1996, stagnation in median household income may, in fact, be largely a reflection of the changes in the size and composition of households rather than a reflection of stagnating economy. That was John McNeil of the U.S. Census Bureau that said that. So this means that since there are more single-family households, that one parent instead of two, thereby making them two average families from what once would have been included in these numbers as one, then it seems for those families the median income is half of what it was. Duh. Do you see how those numbers are manipulated, and entrepreneurs and greedy people have more to do with this, and these numbers don't really mean anything? Think about this. Greedy entrepreneurs in the petroleum industry drive up the cost of something they know we need to survive, gas in our cars. This means that we need gas to get to work. This increases the cost of living because it also creates a shipping cost increase, which increases the cost of everything else. Everything we buy that gets shipped, clothing, food, household items, and then families break up over money difficulties, lose their house, jobs, etc. That breaks up families. That immediately destroys the average homeowner's household income. That doesn't mean the majority of working people have had a decrease in salary, but there are a lot of middle income people who work for private sector employers who have quit paying living wages and hire staff in temporary jobs that they used to pay full wages to a full-time employee for doing the same job. This is done to increase their profit margin, and those decisions are made by the greedy corporations and their administration staff, such as CEOs. So explain to me, how is this the president's responsibility, or how is he supposed to control that? He can't. It doesn't have anything to do with the White House or the president. Then he said the Dodd Act had something to do with banks no longer wanting to renegotiate loans with people. They don't want to renegotiate because they are greedy. They will sell the same house to somebody else while still remaining a receiver of the debt from somebody else at the large price that was over exorbitant, and they knew it to begin with. Okay, people got into what they call creative financing loans and got themselves screwed by predatory lenders. And those lenders are not. I mean, after they did that, you really expect them to be a nice guy and sell the same person the house for less money and tell them, no, you can get out of your contract. You don't owe us all that anymore. Bullshit. They're going to hold those people to that debt from now on. Okay? Now, a lot of those people will have to pay back a debt on something that they don't own anymore for the time that they were in the house. All right, the problem is that there's one word that they don't have. It's called ethics. Why would they sell a house at a foreclosure auction for $50,000 that was worth $180,000 on the internet? It's because they don't want to admit the house was actually only worth $50,000. Okay, that is what the politicians and the GOP never mention as the result. And the reason for all of the problems we have with the bank results from their unlimited greed and the fact that they spent money like a drunken sailor for 8 years under the auspices of the Bush administration. They expected that just to keep happening. And some of our biggest problems came from the deregulation of ethical practices that members of Congress wrecked in 1999. From factcheck.org, the bill in question is the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, which was passed in 1999 and repealed portions of Glass-Steagall Act, a piece of legislation from the era of the Great Depression that imposed a number of regulations on financial institutions. So, this was put in place after the Great Depression to prevent something like that from ever happening again. Should we get rid of it? Hell no. This legislation loosened regulations that we all know now allowed the banks on Wall Street to fail, and then George W. Bush gave them $700 billion bailout, and the Republicans are trying to call it the Obama bailout. What the fuck are they talking about? Don't they realize some of us read? Some of us remember the news? Some of us could go on YouTube and look at the video of him saying that shit. All of the financial downturns we have had started during a Republican administration because idiots like John McCain think people who've already destroyed the economy of the United States through their own unlimited greed are a good idea as long as they vote for the GOP. That's encouraging unlimited greed and predatory lending. It's bad. Let me read you the report from the internet magazine called The Market Oracle. In the article, they quote the New York Times, who is quoting the National Association of Realtors in the United States Commerce Department when it said the headline was U.S. housing market crash to result in a second Great Depression. The subheading was Economics, Economic Depression. The date was February 23rd, 2007. 2007, 2 years before Obama was in office. The report says this week's data on sagging real estate market leaves no doubt that the housing bubble is quickly crashing to earth and that hard times are on the way. The slump in home prices from the end of 2005 to the end of 2006 was the biggest year-over-year drop since the National Association of Realtors started keeping track in 1982. The Commerce Department announced that the construction of new homes fell in January by a whopping 14.3%. Prices fell in half of the nation's major markets, and existing home sales declined in 40 states. Arizona, Florida, California, and Virginia have seen the largest precipitous drop in sales. The Commerce Department also reported that the number of vacant homes increased by 34% in 2006 to 2.1 million at the end of the year, nearly doubling the long-term vacancy rate. And Obama got elected and actually took office in 2009. And this is his fault. How? Stop lying. Take care and have a nice day, YouTubers. Talk to you later. Bye.